Hello, good evening. I'm not quite sure about whether I should upload this video. Yes, I think I might. Maybe it'll. Yes, I think I will, actually. I'm in my house. It's late at night. I don't really want to worry about finding a pretty sight for you guys to watch and look at. It's raining and cold outside. It's a very dark night. It's mid-October, October 16th to be exact. And it's a new moon, the darkest point of the moon cycle. And oh boy, it's been dark. It's been dark. I have been exhausted. I have been sleeping, napping for hours every day, along with my full nights. Exhaustion. Oh, we have meowy cats. I've been tired. I've been feeling very, very tired. And I have been wanting to lessen my load and lighten my load. I remember years ago a dear friend who told me that if I wanted my life to move forward, I had to throw some things off my boat. I had to make my boat a little lighter so that it would flow better down the river. And right now, in some respects, my life is a little busy. And yeah, there's some strange thoughts of selling this and selling that. And unhooking from paperwork and materials and names and obligations and responsibilities. Did I mention paperwork and insurance and government and taxes? So that's running around my mind. Also, this morning I woke up to hear that my favorite restaurant up here in St. Adele was closed because yesterday someone rammed into it with their truck. Now, this person did not do it on purpose. There was actually a murder in my little small town last night. It was what they call a règlement de compte. Someone who was known to police. It was a direct shooting. I suppose not something that could happen to you and me, but it happened on the street where my cafe is. And the man who was shot and killed in his car obviously lost control of his vehicle and just pummeled down the street. This is the street I take every day into the terrace and the facade of this restaurant. No one else was injured except for the man who was killed, of course, in his car, but no one in the restaurant. Luckily, it wasn't a beautiful sunny evening or there would have been 20 people sitting on that terrace. I myself was at that restaurant last week twice. Last week was my son's birthday, as I've mentioned in a previous video. And with the COVID stuff and the orange areas, red areas, we figured we would take advantage and, go to the restaurant as much as we could and wanted to. We actually went 3 times last week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And 2 of those times were at this restaurant that was pummeled last night. So there was shock, disbelief, some sadness, and just like, whoa, what's going on? And then on a much more personal note, Later in the afternoon, I receive a message from my cousin in Florence saying that his father passed away, my uncle. Suddenly, at dinner, just a few hours prior. Boom. My uncle lived in Florence. Wasn't really part of my daily life, but I'm just feeling like so much loss. This year, these few months and weeks and days, it's just loss, whether it's loss of freedom, loss of income, loss of health, loss of the ability to see friends, loss of, oh my goodness, I can't name them all. Let's just focus on loss. So I feel incredible amount of sadness. I am flooded with memories of growing up with this very colorful personnage that was my uncle. He was actually probably not exactly an uncle. He was my mother's cousin, but since both my mother and him were only children, they were pretty much raised together. They were first cousins, but they were always together because their families got together and they were both only children. I already said that, didn't I? So for all intents and purposes, he was family. His kids are my age, and our children are the same age. And it's family, it's life, it's death, it's loss, it's grief, it's pain, it's sorrow, it's letting go. It's dark. I'm healthy. I'm well. I have a roof over my head. But somehow, my whole perspective is shifting. I want to retreat. I also watched this evening, I watched The Social Dilemma, finally. I really felt I was in a state where I was ready to hear the truth. And it just so happened that this morning I had a little bit of an argument with my son about screen time and his use of his phone. And how, unfortunately, if he couldn't regulate it and control it, I was going to have to play that role. So the first thing we're going to do on Monday night, without access to our phones, because it's kind of like quitting smoking in a household. If you're asking one person not to use their phones, well, you can't exactly sit there and do it. So we're both going to be off our phones. Maybe every other night, maybe just a couple of hours. I don't know. But the darn things are going to have to go in a drawer for a couple of hours, muted. So The Social Dilemma, I was actually quite impressed. I thought it would just be this propaganda of get off the screens, it's bad for you. But it was a very, I thought, thought-provoking, well-made, almost optimistic, because really near the end, it's all about finding a solution. And kids like mine, who's 15, who was raised with this, he's going to be part of the solution. And so it's important that we have hope, optimism, and hopefully soon a plan. Oh, I got 2 cats here that are playing or play fighting. I don't really know what they're doing. Oh, I think he's sitting in her seat. Anyhow, made me smile. That's pretty good. Yeah, Social Dilemma. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I want to sell. I want to sell my business. I want to sell. I want to be lighter. I want to retreat from this world that isn't making any sense right now. And not retreat in a pathological way. Just retreat until I have a worthy, good reason to speak or show up or do something. I'm finding that there's not a lot of meaning. I'm just going through the motions. Whether it's work related or, go for a walk. Not because I want to go for a walk. I go for a walk because, well, it's good for your health and you got to keep busy and the weather is so beautiful and it's going to get colder. I would really like my actions to come from a place of meaning, purpose, alignment. There's a word for you. Alignment. At this moment, I don't feel aligned too much. And so I'm being quiet. Being quiet as I'm talking to you. So that I find my center again. And even YouTube, these videos, they're on YouTube. Subscribe, click on the bell. I don't want to be a part of that. But I want to stay connected and I want to communicate and share and listen and be of service. But mainly I want to feel alive. And with the restrictions, if it's not through our screens, I don't know how we connect. I don't know. So I'm going to hang on to that I don't know mind. Maybe there is a way, maybe more for our generation in our 50s. There is a way for us to use our phones and our screens for creative purposes, for connection, and not become addicted the way maybe our young ones have less of a chance because they don't know what it was like before. There was this line in the documentary that said, imagine if you're born in the Matrix, you don't even know you're in the Matrix. You didn't know what it was like before. Kids that are born in the late 90s or 2000, they're born with a phone in their hands. They don't even know there's anything abnormal about that. It's really something. Okay. Well, this has helped. I feel better. Thank you for listening. And thank you. Thank you. That's it. It's a thank you. Thank you. And of course, love to all. Good night.